well-wishers who are seated right in front of me. In view of what has happened and coming about, would not anybody stutter or stammer or stumble to talk? All of us have received so heavily. Besides this to address, he or she must be person of sterner stuff. Besides adopting of what our former president of the association has said, I'm anxious to add only a few points. I started my career in the year 1972, hailing from a farmer's family. I was born into a family when there were 17 members, all of them earnest, scrupulous, honest agriculturists. My parents were able to put lot of into my heart, but not into my head. Because everyone in the family was a military. My mother, Nirakshara Kukshi. Father knew how to write and read Kannada. Fortunately, I started after hearing the speeches, arguments of Krishna Menon and other learned advocates who were coming to attend matters here in the High Court. Before the Mysore High Court, they were all coming here to attend before the Mysore High Court. I developed the idea, ambition of becoming an advocate in my childhood days. I started working towards it. I was always anxious to read newspapers, and particularly Prajavani, which was carrying the court proceedings. You all have heard of that Belur Srinivasa Iyengar's murder trial. 7 persons of the family were done to death in the night when Mr. Hanumantharaya was the chief minister. Trial started. It was being reported, proceedings were being reported in the greatest detail possible in the Prajavani, Kannada Patrika. Our house was getting Prajavani. After finishing agricultural operations, in the evening, people would return home asking me to read the paper, and I was reading it for them. I was reading the Kannada paper. The gatherer would divide itself into 2 groups, one in favor of the prosecution and the other in favor of the defense. When I read something about the acrobatics of the prosecutor or the skillful points emerging from the prosecution side, others would say, look at that public prosecutor. How unique he must be, how great he must be, how intelligent he must be, how skillful he must be to trigger these points in favor of the prosecution. The defense side would say, hold on, wait for a few minutes and see what would happen to your public prosecutor. Then I would read the questions posed by the defense lawyer in his cross-examination. They would become immensely appreciative of that time and say, look at this lawyer. How has he cornered the prosecution? How has he cornered the witness? How has he been able to take the point he wanted? See the skills, see the traits of this defense lawyer. And there used to be more number of persons on the defense side. When they would become so appreciative, the defense lawyer in me would say, why don't you become a lawyer like him? Why don't you become a lawyer like the defense lawyer who is being appreciated by everybody here right under the law? This is how I was watching, and inside, developing an idea of becoming a lawyer. Unfortunately, that got converted into a big ambition. Then I joined the law college. Even when I was in the law college, I was staying in the Bengaluru University hostel. I used to attend the trials being conducted by Mr. Devdas, as mentioned by Mr. Reddy, P.S. Devdas, one of the lawyers, one of the luminaries on the criminal side, a formidable lawyer, a Davis lawyer, Hamana, who gave so many, all of you know. It may not be necessary for me to say, his office gave so many High Court judges. Then Keswe and Company. And coming to Shamana, next, C.B. Motaya. They were all genius advocates on the criminal side. I used to attend classes in the government law college from 7:30 to 10:30. Thereafter, from 11 to 5, believe me, there are some eyewitnesses who are of my age, my contemporaries. I used to attend criminal trials from 11 to 5, barring the intermission, with all earnestness. I used to. Then in 72, I became a lawyer. I joined Mr. Devdas' office. I would like to tell you of a tragedy that has taken place. Shamana was such an eminent lawyer. Mr. Devdas was such an eminent lawyer. C.B. Motaya, B.K. Ramchandra Rao. We were following them. Sir, remember, none of them was designated as senior counsel, either at the instance of the bar or at the instance of the bench. They all took leave of this earth without becoming designated senior lawyers. But we remember them more and more, even at this stage, even now. They were ideals to us. They inspired us. They motivated us. They motivated me in particular, and countless, countless advocates were motivated by them. When I was his junior, of Mr. P.S. Devdas, one of his sons-in-law was there as they working as his junior. Then there was one Mr. Iyengar. By the time I joined the office, he had already spent 25 years as his junior in the office. Mr. Devdas used to tell me, Mr. Hanumantharaya, this is my evergreen junior. Mr. Iyengar is my evergreen junior. But it would, go on like this. Look at the credibility of my senior. Look at the impartiality of my senior. Even though his son-in-law was there, as his junior, he would, whenever he thought witnesses would turn hostile or witnesses were likely to turn hostile in any sessions trial which was in his hand, he would pass on that case to me. Even when I was hardly 1 year old as an advocate or 2 years old as an advocate, I was attached to him from 72 to 80. 9 years I was with him. When I was with him, I was able to defend accused persons in 40 murder trials. In the lives of some, in the lives of, in the professional lives of so many advocates, throughout that career, from the beginning to the end, I don't think they would participate in 40 murder trials. As Mr. Kulkarni was, my friend Mr. Kulkarni was trying to mention, so far I'm not patting my back. I'm only saying, with the benefit I was able to have with Mr. Devdas as his junior, till date I have been able to conduct 774 murder trials. Defend accused in 700 cases. I have done it. I've done it. Having done it, I'm before you. Now the mood point that I'm trying to drive is, how have I been able to do it? Why have not others been able to do it? I have been able to do it because I have burnt my midnight oil. I worked day in and day out. And remembering my senior, I always remember my senior because he left so much behind him for me. And the love and affection he showed when I was his junior, and thereafter when I was defending DCP Somchecker in Mysore, it was being reported in all the newspapers. He was also coming there to defend accused in some other murder trials. I would meet him twice or thrice a day when he was there staying in a hotel. He would tell me, he would not forget to tell me, HANUMANTHARAYA, sensational sessions trials are always bad for defense. They are always bad. You must be doubly careful. ನೀನು ಮೈಯೆಲ್ಲ ಕಣ್ಣಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸಗಳನ್ನು ನಡೆಸಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಸೆನ್ಸೇಷನಲ್ ಟ್ರಯಲ್ಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ಡೇಂಜರಸ್ ಟ್ರಯಲ್ಸ್ ಯಾವುದೂ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಏನು ಇಲ್ದಿದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಕನ್ವಿಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡುವಂತ ಸಂದರ್ಭಗಳು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಏನು ಇಲ್ದಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಇಡೀ ದೇಶ ವಾಚ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತದೆ, ಇಡೀ ಸಮಾಜ ಅದನ್ನು ವಾಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಯಾವ ಜಡ್ಜ್ಗೂ, ಯಾವ ಸೆಷನ್ ಜಡ್ಜ್ಗೂ ಆ ಕರೇಜು ಗಟ್ಸು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಹಿಮ್ಮೆಟ್ಟಿಸುವಂತಹ ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಫೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ it would be very difficult for any session judge to muster courage to acquit accused. They would convict accused, leaving the rest to the Honorable High Court to be done in appeal. Within no jiff, it is upset in the High Court. This is how, there was a big gap after all these four doyens passed away. There was a very big gap. Even now, I have been able to see in the courts of law, particularly in the sessions trials, because I am mainly a sessions trial. I tendered my appearance in the sessions trials, 85%, 15%, only 15% in the Honorable High Court. I always have passion for conducting trials. I always think facing the witnesses and extracting from them as to what I want in defense of my client gives me a lot of pleasure. It gives me a lot of happiness. Even now, to tell you, I'm now 76 years old. Examining the witnesses, then arguing their appeal in the criminal appeal in the Honorable High Court of Karnataka. I have the passion for that. And I realize it is only this passion entertained by any junior member of the bar that can carry him power. If one has no passion, and if one wants to practice on the criminal side in the sessions court without passion, I tell you, it is only a pretender. It is only a pretense you would be able to see in his face. Now, there is a famous saying, and we should be akin to that. The famous saying is, he who breaks law is not punished. He who obeys law is cheated. If he is not convicted, the person who is obeying law, who is sincere to follow law, follow the spirit of law in all his doings, in all his action, is cheated. Yes, supposing we bear that very seriously in mind, if we bear that in mind and start working, where would it take us? Where would it take us? Now a real murderer comes to you. Does it mean to say you should not defend a real murderer? We should. That is the profession. We have taken what to defend him. That is all we learn, we earn enemies also. When a doctor conducts operation, it is successful, he gets lot of permissions, he gets lots of acquaintance, he gets lot of friends. When a lawyer stands up defending an accused, he earns enemies. Witnesses are his enemies who come to depose in favor of the deceased, and deceased party people are enemies to him. they would start hating him because he has appeared against their interest. Look at this tamacha. Doctor earns well-wishers, doctor earns friends, a lawyer earns enemies by sticking on to the profession sincerely. This is how we are tasked, but still we would have the satisfaction, and it is only the satisfaction that we derive in doing discharging our duties as a professional that would take us forward. ಇದನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ನಾನು ನನಗೆ ಅಲಾಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂತಹದ್ದು 5 ನಿಮಿಷದಿಂದ 7 ನಿಮಿಷದವರೆಗೆ ಅಂತ. ಆದರೂ ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ರೆಡ್ಡಿಗಾದ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಇಲ್ಲ ನಂತರ ಅವರು 5 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲ 7 ನಿಮಿಷ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ಲಿ, ನೀನ್ ಲಗಾಯಿಸು, ನೀನ್ ಅದನ್ನು ಹೈಲೈಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಅವ್ರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋ ಕಾಶನ್ಗಿತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ರೆಡ್ಡಿಗಾರರು ಅವ್ರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ನನಗೆ ವಿಚಾರ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ನನಗೆ ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತದೆ. ಆ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಈಗ ಸದ್ಯದ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಂಧ್ರದ ಚೀಫ್ ಜಸ್ಟಿಸ್ ಅವರನ್ನ ಮುಂದೆ ಇರಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು, ಗೆಳೆಯರಾದಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲರನ್ನು ಮುಂದಿರಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು, ಗೆಳೆಯರಾದಂಥ ಜನರಲ್ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು, ನಮ್ಮ ಸೆಷನ್ ಜಡ್ಜ್ ಅವರನ್ನು ಇರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, ಇವತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ನಿಂತಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟ್ನವರು ಸೆಷನ್ ಜಡ್ಜಸ್ನ 1 ತಿಂಗಳಿಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಕೇಸನ್ನ ಡಿಸ್ಪೋಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ನಿಯಮ ಇದೆ, ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದು ತಲೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವರು ಡೆಮಾಕ್ರಸ್ ಸೋರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ದಂಗೆ ಅವರ ಮೇಲೆ ಹ್ಯಾಂಗಿಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಆ ಧಾವಂತದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಒಬ್ಬ ವಿಟ್ನೆಸ್ ಅನ್ನು, ಯಾವ ಒಬ್ಬ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿದಾರನು ನೀವು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟ್ರಯಲ್ ಲಾಯರು ತಳಸ್ಪರ್ಶಿಯಾಗಿ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಸವಾಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಮಾನ್ಯ ನಮ್ಮ ಸೆಷನ್ ಜಡ್ಜ್ ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ತಿಂತಾ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಟ್ರಯಲ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಹೇಗೆ ನಡೀತವೆ, ಏನು ಎತ್ತ ಅಂತ. ಸರ್ ತಮಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ, ಆ ಒತ್ತಡದಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಟ್ನೆಸಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಪರಿಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ನಮಗೆ ಮಾಡೋದಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಅದ್ರಾಗ ಹೇಗೋ ದಬಾಯಿಸ್ತೀನಿ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅನುಭವ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಅನುಭವದ ಬಲದಿಂದ ಹೇಗೋ ಗುಡ್ಡಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಅವರೊಂದಿಗೆ ತಿಕ್ಕಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂತೀನಿ. ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಲಾಯರ್ಗಳು ಏನಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಲಾ ಇರ್ತದ್ರೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ದಿನದಿಂದ ಇದೆಯಪ್ಪ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನೀನು ಆಗ್ಲೇ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಲಾ ರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ, ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಪ್ರಾಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಇದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಅರ್ಚನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ ನೀವು. ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಲಾ ರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಇಲ್ಲೀಗಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಅವರು ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ತರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಇದು ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಬಾರ್ ಬೈ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 136, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಬಾರ್ ಬೈ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 60 ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್, ಸಿನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್ಸೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನೀವು ಬೇಗ ನೀವು ರೀತಿ ಅಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಫೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಹಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಜಡ್ಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ತದ ಅಂತದೆಲ್ಲ ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟ್ನವ್ರು ಗುರ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ನಿಂತಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಧಾವಂತದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವಸರದಲ್ಲಿ ಜರುಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಗುವಂತಹ ಜಸ್ಟಿಸು, ಆಗುವಂತಹ ಇನ್ಜಸ್ಟಿಸು ಧಾವಂತದ ಉತ್ಪನ್ನ. ಅದು ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಇಂದ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಒಂದು ವಿಚಾರ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇಂಥದ್ದು ಆಗಬಾರದು. ಯಾಕಾಗಿ ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಮಾನ್ಯ ಚೀಫ್ ಜಸ್ಟಿಸ್ ರವರನ್ನ ಎದುರಿಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಅಂತ ನಿಯಮ ಏನಾದರೂ ಇರೋದೇ ಆದ್ರೆ, ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಇರೋದೇ ಆದ್ರೆ ದಯಮಾಡಿ ಸಡಿಲ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡಿ. ಈಗಿನ ಜನರೇಷನ್ ಈಗ ಬಹಳ ಗಂಭೀರವಾಗಿ ವೃತ್ತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಡಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಯಂಗರ್ ಜನರೇಷನ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಮುಂದ್ಬರ್ಬೇಕು, ಮುಂಚೂಣಿಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕು, ನಾನು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಸದುದ್ದೇಶ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡೋದಿಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಅವರುಗಳಿಗಿಂತ ಬಾಟಲ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಗಳಿರೋದು ಬೇಡ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಲೆಟರ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕದು. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರವಾಗಿ ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸುವಂತ 1 ತಾಸು 2 ತಾಸು ಇಡೀ ದಿವಸ 3 ದಿನ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ತಾಕತ್ತಿದೆಯಾ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದೇನು? 1000 ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ 1000 ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಯು ರೆಲೆವೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳಾಗಿದ್ದರೆ ನೀವು ಜಡ್ಜಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಇಂಟರ್ಫಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? 1000 ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್, 1000 ರೆಲೆವೆಂಟ್. ನಾನು 1000 ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಅಡಚಣೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ತಪ್ಪಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ಏಳಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ, ಮುನ್ನೆಲೆಗೆ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ತವಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಲಾಯರ್ಸ್ಗಳು, ಅವರನ್ನ ಕುಕ್ಕೆ ಪಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಹಿಂದಕ್ಕೆ ನೂಕಿದಂತ ಕೆಲಸ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಅದು ಆಗಬಾರದು. ಇದನ್ನ ಮನನ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ನಾನು 5 ನಿಮಿಷ ಮೀರಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿರೋದನ್ನ ಅಥವಾ ಮೀರಿ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಸಂಬೋಧಿಸಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದನ್ನ ಅವ್ರು ಕ್ಷಮಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಮಗೆ ವಕೀಲ ಭೂಷಣ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ an honor to the profession, honor to the profession, a GL of the profession, 5 GLs of the profession ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅರ್ಹರೋ ಅನರ್ಹರೋ ಡಿಸರ್ವಿಂಗೋ ಅನ್ಡಿಸರ್ವಿಂಗೋ ಈ ತಾಕಲಾಟಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇಂಟರ್ಪ್ರಿಟೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಇಂಡರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಒಳ್ಳಾರವರು ಗೆಳೆಯರಾದ ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಒಳ್ಳಾರವರು ಇತರೆ 13 ಜನ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಅಡ್ವೊಕೇಟ್ಸ್ಗಳ ಜೊತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ತುಲನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಯಾರು ಅರ್ಹರು ಅಂತ ಕಂಡಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾನೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ತಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ತೀರ್ಪಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಅವಮಾನ ಮಾಡಿದಂತ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಆ ತೀರ್ಪಿಗೆ ಡೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಂತೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಆ ತೀರ್ಪನ್ನು ನಾವು ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದಂತೆ ನಾವು ಇರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ನಮ್ಮಿಂದ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಟ್ಟಿಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದೆ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ನೀವು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಆಶಯ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಆಶಯಕ್ಕೆ ತಕ್ಕಂತೆ ಬದುಕಿ ನಾವು ಬೇರೆಯವರು ಕೂಡ ಬೆಂಬಲಿಸಿ ಮುಂದುವರಿಸ್ತೇವೆ ಅನ್ನುವ ಒಂದು ಆಶ್ವಾಸನೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಇದೆಲ್ಲಕ್ಕೂ ಭಾಗಿಗಳಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇದು ಪ್ರಾಪ್ತವಾಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ತಲುಪಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ತರಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾದಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭ ಬಂದಿರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲಕ್ಕೂ ಭಾಗಿಗಳಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತು ನನ್ನ ಸಹ ವಕೀಲ್ ಭೂಷಣರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಆಭಾರ.